Hi guys, good morning. The two of you are there. Where are your friends?
Don't know, sir. They didn't come yet.
Okay, wait for 5 more minutes. Let them join.
Yeah.
Start. Okay, I think almost everyone joined. Fine, we'll start. Everybody's ready. And yes, like last class, everybody is taking down the notes. Nobody is sitting idle and just looking at the video. Is it okay? Right? Fine. So yesterday we saw Bohr's. I mean, that last class we saw Bohr's atomic model, isn't it? Right. So I told you that there are going to be certain points told by Bohr. He said that electrons cannot be placed anywhere and everywhere. They are going to have their own stationary orbits, correct? And if the electron is going to stay in their own stationary orbits, they will not release any energy, right? And the energy of all these stationary orbits are quantized as well as their angular momentum value. Angular momentum value, MPR, is equal to nh by 2 pi. So whenever you see this n integral multiple coming, that means it is going to get quantized, right? Okay, then we went on to see so many formulas, right? One formula we saw for radius, right? One formula we saw for velocity, we saw for energy, transition energy, and ionization energy. Okay, so we'll see whether you remember what was the formula for radius, guys. What was the formula for radius?
0.529 into n square by z square Armstrong.
Yeah, and z squared by z squared Armstrong units. What was it for velocity?
Sir, n square by
N squared by?
sir, for radius, how's the square on both numerator and denominator?
Oh, I think it's n squared by z, not z squared.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Correct. Yes. N
Sorry,
squared.
sir.
No problem. Okay. So next, what is the thing for velocity? For formula for velocity?
(2.18 into 10 to the power 6 z by n).
Correct. 2.18 10 to the power 6 z by n. That's the formula we had for velocity. Okay. What about the energy of the stationary orbit? Energy of stationary orbit? What is the formula for energy of stationary orbit? Okay, I think you don't remember. It's very simple. Remember, it is E is equal to minus k z squared by n squared, right? Minus k z squared by n squared, and I told you this k value is a constant, right? And this k value is going to depend upon what kind of units we are going to have. Can you tell me what are the k values which you can use, and what are the units required?
In joules, it's 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18.
Okay. One
In
more.
electron volt, it's 13.6.
Exactly. So if at all k value will be 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 in terms of joules, and K value will be 13.6 in terms of electron volts. Right? This is what we saw, right? Okay. What about transition energy? Delta E formula. Delta E, what was the formula?
2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 into Z square into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square.
Exactly. So I can write it as K minus KZ squared, not minus, KZ squared into 1 by N1 squared minus 1 by N2 squared. This is what I had for transition energy. When the electron shifts from one stationary orbit to another stationary orbit, this is the formula, right? And lastly, we even had a formula for ionization energy, which was derived from this, right? So before we see the formula, how are you going to define ionization energy, guys? What is the definition for ionization energy in terms of Bohr's model?
It is the energy which is required to take out the electrons from the first orbit to infinity.
Exactly.
Infinite the stationary orbit.
Yeah. Correct, right? So it is the energy required to take out the electron from the first stationary orbit to infinity, right? So obviously N1 is going to be 1 and N2 is going to be infinity. So 1 by infinity will become 0. And obviously I had a beautiful formula, easy formula, we just told K into Z square. So these are the things we saw last class. And we even did problems, correct? Okay. So we'll continue, right? There are still a few more things which we have to see. Right, and then we'll go for the next concepts. Okay. Right. So now what we are going to see, please understand, we already derived an equation for energy in terms of Planck's theory. Right. I told you that E will be equal to h nu. Right. And I can even write this formula as E is equal to hc by lambda. So remember that, say, frequency is equal to c by lambda. Okay, I'll tell you what is c and lambda is. So basically c is speed of light, which is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, right? And your lambda value is what is called as wavelength. Lambda value is what is called as wavelength of the particular electromagnetic radiation used, right? Lambda is the wavelength of the electromagnetic radiation used. Okay. So now when I go to my delta E equation, now delta E equation I told you as it is kz squared into 1 by n1 squared minus 1 by n2 squared. Again, this is an energy value, correct? This is an energy value. So obviously this I'll be able to write it as some hc by lambda, right? So this delta E also I'll be able to write it as some hc by lambda, and that will be equal to same thing kz squared into 1 by n1 squared minus 1 by n2 squared, correct? So now h and c are constants because h value I know it is 6.6 into minus 26 and c value is 3 into 10 to the power 8, right? So I can just have 1 by lambda alone on this side, right? 1 by lambda is equal to, again, k is a constant. Again, we are going to do in terms of joules. Okay, so if I do in terms of joules, I know what is the value, 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18, right? Okay, so if I just write it as k by hc into z squared into 1 by n1 squared minus 1 by n2 squared, right? So now my overall constant k by hc is going to become 10977. That is the value which I'm going to get, right? In z squared into 1 by n1 squared minus 1 by n2 squared. This is the formula, right? 1 by lambda is equal to 10977. What is it? Z squared into 1 by n1 squared minus 1 by n2 squared. So this one, actually, this is the name of a constant. This 10977 is actually a name of a constant called as Rydberg's constant. RH. That is how I represent it, right? This 10977 per meter. This is in terms of per meter. Okay, 10977 per meter, and that is what is called as Rydberg's constant, and is denoted by the letter RH, R subscript H. Okay, so how will I write the formula properly now? I'll be able to easily write it. I have 1 by lambda is equal to RH Z squared into 1 by N1 squared minus 1 by N2 squared. Right? This is the formula which you have to remember. And RH value is 10977 per meter. 10977 per meter. Okay, fine. So now we are going to use this. So please understand, guys, for any electromagnetic radiation, is obviously I tell that for the, say for example, the electron is in first orbit, right? Now I have to make sure the electron goes to the third orbit. What I have to do? I have to supply energy. I already told you, when the electron is going from lower orbit to higher orbit, I have to supply energy. And whenever electron comes from higher orbit to lower orbit, in that case, your the energy will be released, right? Lower orbit to higher orbit, we have to supply energy, and higher orbit, lower orbit, energy will be released, isn't it? Right? So now, obviously, say for example, I have to make sure the electron goes from first orbit to third orbit, right? So what I have to do? I have to supply energy, and I supply energy in terms of some electromagnetic radiation. Say I give some amount of X-rays, or say I give some amount of light rays. All these have some energy, right? And like but I already told you that in the starting of this chapter, when I saw your cathode ray experiment, I told you that only particles will have energy, isn't it? Only particles will have energy. But now I'm telling you that even electromagnetic waves are also having energy. And how is that formula possible? I mean, how is it possible? Because now we have a formula: E is equal to hc by lambda, or E is equal to h nu. And obviously, only the waves will have the frequencies, or say the wavelengths, all that will be coming into the picture, right? So with this, we'll be able to see one beautiful thing, right? With this formula, we are going to see the emission spectrum of hydrogen. We're going to see the emission spectrum of hydrogen. That means if the electron is from some higher orbit, right, and it is going to the lower orbit, obviously energy is going to get released, right? So that particular energy we are going to calculate with the help of this formula, or say with the help of delta E, I'll be able to calculate this particular thing, right? And I forgot to tell you one thing: this reciprocal of wavelength 1 by lambda, right? 1 by lambda is what is called as wave number, right? Wave number denoted by the letter mu bar. Okay, so please understand, my 1 by lambda, that is reciprocal of wavelength, is what is called as wave number, and this wave number is represented by the letter mu bar, frequency with a bar. Okay, that is what is called as wave number. Okay, fine. So now we are going to see this emission spectrum of hydrogen. I already told you what is spectrum. Spectrum is nothing but a scale, right? So when the electron comes from higher orbit to the lower orbit, right, so some energy is going to be released, and that is going to be measured with the help of the scale. That I'm going to call it as emission spectrum. Why emission? Because electron is coming from higher orbit to lower orbit. Okay, fine. Now obviously what you can understand is, if the energy supplied is going to be electromagnetic radiation, say I have light rays, UV rays, infrared rays, all these things, right? Even the energy released also is going to be in form of an electromagnetic radiation, right? Even the energy released was also going to be in the form of an electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so now there were different scientists. There were different scientists who worked on different parts of the spectrum. Spectrum in the sense different parts of the electromagnetic radiation. Say one guy worked only with light rays, one guy worked with UV rays, one guy worked with infrared rays, like that. So many different scientists worked on different areas of the electromagnetic radiation, or say different areas of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so we'll see one by one who and all are the scientists and which areas they worked with, right? And obviously the electromagnetic radiation which are going to get released during when the electron comes from higher orbit to lower orbit, the electromagnetic radiation is going to depend on from which orbit to which orbit. So I say it is going to depend on the N1 value and the N2 value only, because RH is a constant, Z will be constant for that particular element, right? So obviously the electromagnetic radiation, the lambda value which I can calculate here, right, is going to depend upon only the n1 value and the n2 value. From where to where is what is going to depend upon. Okay, the first scientist to work on this was who was called as Lyman series, or the scientist name is Lyman, and the series of lines which I'm going to get in the spectrum or what are called as Lyman series. Lyman series. Okay, now very simple. Now I told you I'm going to have, okay, I'll list out all the things: Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Paschen, bracket, and lastly I have fund, F-E-F-U-N-D, right? So Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, bracket, fund. Okay, Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, bracket, and fund. These 5 are the types of series which you're going to study. Okay, you have to remember the names, right? There is no other go. And among all these series, so I told you only N1 and N2 is going to vary. I would say only N1 is going to vary. N2 can be anything. Okay, I'll tell you. Now, Lyman series, for Lyman series, wherever the electron is, right? I'm going to see, we are talking only about emission spectrum. So we are going to see only and only cases where the electron goes from higher orbit to the lower orbit. Please understand this, right? Okay, in Lyman series, the electron can come from anywhere, right? The electron can come from anywhere, but it has to go to the first orbit. Please remember this. The electron can come from any of the orbit. The electron can come from the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, infinity, whatever it is, right? It can come from any of the higher orbit, but it has to go to the first orbit. That is what you need to understand. So I'll be able to fix the N1 and N2 value. So N1 will be 1. It has to always go to the first orbit, right? And N2 value can be starting with 2, 3, 4, so on, so forth. That can be anything, right? So alignment series will be N1. That is, it is the electron can be coming from anywhere other than the first orbit, and the electron is going to go to the first orbit, right? So N1 is constant, that is 1, right? And N2 can be with starting with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on, so forth. Okay, right? And Lyman series, I told you the spectrum, where which kind of electromagnetic radiation I'm going to see. It is going to be in the visible region. What do you mean by visible region? Basically the light which we know, the visible light, red, green, blue, all the colors which I already know, which I can see with my naked eyes, right? So that kind of this thing is going to get emitted. The light rays, the visible light is going to get emitted when the electron is going to come from any other orbit to the first orbit. Okay, fine. Now when I go for Balmer, right? Now the electron can come from any orbit. Electron can come from any orbit, but it has to go to the second orbit only, right? The electron can come from any orbit, but it has to go to only the second orbit. So here N1 will be 2 because the electron has to go to the second orbit only, and N2 is going to be from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on, so forth.
Sir, 1, sir.
Sorry?
1.
1 is not here. Like we don't care about the first orbit here. It has to end with second orbit. If it is going to go to the first orbit, it comes under Lyman series. Understood? Okay, fine. Now when I go for Paschen, okay, now we have to see which is the spectrum which you're going to get. Here also it is going to be UV, ultraviolet. Here it is going to be UV rays which will be emitted during this transition. Okay, next when I go for Paschen, right? So Paschen, here N1 is going to be 3. The N1 is now electron can come from any orbit, but it has to go to the third orbit. Any orbit, but it has to go to the third orbit. So N1 is 3. So N2 can be from 4, 5, 6, so on, so forth. Right? N1 can be 3, and N2 can be from 4, 5, 6, so on, so forth. Right? Okay. and here it is going to be IR, infrared. Here it is going to be IR, infrared. Okay, next, in bracket, right? Now the electron can come from any orbit, but it has to go to the 4th orbit. That's it. So here N1 is 4, right? N1 is 4, and N2 can be from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. Okay, and N1 is going to be it has to go to the 1st orbit, right? And it can come from anywhere else other than 4th orbit, from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth, right? And here also it is going to be IR. Here also it is going to be infrared radiation, right? And lastly, in fund, the electron can come from any orbit, and it has to end up with 5th orbit, right? So here N1 is 5, right? And N2 will start with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth, right? N1 will be 5, and N2 is going to be from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth, right? So you have to remember this, right? In Lyman series, N1 is 1, and Balmer N1 is equal to 2, Paschen N1 is 3, for bracket N1 is 4, and for fund N1 is 5, and the N2 value will be starting with the next higher level. The next higher level of all these series. For example, in Lyman, N2 can start with 2, for Balmer, N2 can start with 3, and so on and so forth. For in fund, the N2 will start with 6, and so on and so forth. Okay, right? And yeah, and you have to remember which and all are the spectrum. So here it is visible, ultraviolet, in all the other 3, here also it is IR. Right? In fund series also it is going to be IR.
Sir, what is the meaning of IR, sir?
Infrared. Like where do you use infrared? Your TV remotes, you control the TV, right? So obviously some waves are going to go from your remote to the TV. So that rays which are going are actually infrared rays. Okay. So other example I can give you is say there's something called as night vision cameras. Right, night vision cameras, you will be able to see people glowing in say red or green or something, even in absence of light, isn't it? So that is also basically going to be infrared cameras. Okay. Right. So that's about emission spectrum of hydrogen. So we'll do some problems on this. Okay. Okay, and one more thing which I have to tell you, right? So they might ask questions like this: find the shortest wavelength. Find the shortest wavelength in Lyman series from which transition? That is, from N2 is equal to what orbit? From which orbit? And if the electron comes to the 1st orbit in Lyman series, the lambda value will be minimum. And so the same question can be asked from which orbit? If the electron comes to the 1st orbit in Lyman series, where will be the lambda be maximum? Where will the wavelength be maximum? All these kind of questions can be asked. Minimum wavelength, maximum wavelength, that is going to depend upon only the N2 value, because N1 is fixed in all the cases for that matter, right? So they will ask in all these series which is the maximum wavelength and which is the minimum wavelength, and that is going to depend upon the N2 value only. Correct? Okay. So I'm gonna we'll see what can be done. Okay. So we'll take Lyman series for example. If Lyman series we need to see, all the other things we'll be able to understand. Okay. Fine. Okay. So again, I write the formula. 1 by lambda is RH z squared into 1 by n1. Okay, now it's Lyman series. So I can write it as 1 by 1 minus 1 by n2 squared. Right? I can write it like this for Lyman series because n1 is fixed. 1 by 1 because n1 is first orbital. Okay, fine. So now say I'm going for shortest wavelength. Shortest lambda. Okay, so now how are you going to do it? Again, RH is constant, Z is going to be constant, so it is going to depend only on the N2 value, right? So what I have to understand is, if 1 by lambda is, if lambda is minimum, if they're asking about the shortest lambda, right? If lambda is minimum, can I say 1 by lambda will be maximum? Because it's reciprocal, isn't it? So if lambda is minimum, right, 1 by lambda would be maximum value, correct? Okay, so keep this in mind. So when I go here, so I basically have RH z squared into 1, okay, minus I have 1 by n2 squared. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do is, if I can make sure, so if I want this value to be maximum, why I want this value to be maximum? Because I want the lambda value to be minimum. Right? So I want this value to be maximum because I want lambda value to be minimum. Okay. So if at all I want this value to be maximum, can I say I have something and I'm subtracting some value from this something? Are you able to understand what I'm telling? I have some value, right? And I'm subtracting this particular 1 by n2 squared value from this value. Isn't it? Now, if I can make sure the subtracting part is less and less and less, if the subtractant, whatever is getting subtracted is less and less and less, so can I say this value will be maximum? Okay, so again I repeat, I want this value to be maximum because I want lambda value to be minimum, right? So I have to make sure that this particular value which I have here, right, this particular value is what is getting subtracted from this, correct? So this particular value should be minimum, right? This particular value should be minimum because that is what is getting subtracted. So it's like I have say 10 with me, right? So when can I have a maximum value if I'm going to subtract? Say I have some 10 minus x with me, right? So they're asking what can be the say this is some y is equal to 10 minus x. Okay, y is equal to 10 minus x. So they're asking what will for me to have the maximum value of y. For me to have maximum value of y, what should be the value of x they're asking, for example. Again, I repeat the question. I have some y which is equal to 10 minus x. Okay. So what should be the value, what is the maximum value of y? And so what will be that value of x which makes y maximum, right? So what should be the value of x, tell me, for making y maximum?
0.1.
I can even have it as 0, exactly, right? So I can even have x to be equal to 0, right? So that y value will be 10. That is the maximum value I can get from this, correct? So our motto is very similar here. I have something, I am subtracting something from that, and I want this part, this is my y here, okay, this is my y, I want y value to be maximum, right? So I have to make sure that whatever is getting subtracted, that is my x, here should be minimum. So obviously, can I say 1 by n2 squared value should be equal to 0? Right? 1 by n2 squared value should be equal to 0. If I don't subtract anything, if that is only that value is there, that will be the maximum value then. Correct. So how can I make 1 by n2 squared 0? What should be the n2 value?
0.
I'm asking 1 by n2 squared is 0. What should be the n2 value? Where the electron should come from? See, please understand, I want 1 by n2 squared 0, not n2 squared 0. I want 1 by n2 squared 0, so what should be the value of n2?
Infinity.
Ah, correct. It should be infinity. Isn't it? 1 by infinity is what is 0, right? I have 1 by something is 0. What should be that something? It should be 0. Sorry, it should be infinity. right? So please understand, for any of the shortest wavelength they are asking, the N2 value should be infinity. Only then, if N2 is equal to infinity, this term will become 0 and this term will stay as such, because nothing it is getting subtracted, and 1 by lambda is maximum and lambda value is minimum. Okay, 1 by lambda is maximum and lambda value is minimum. So you don't have, even if you don't understand this, it's okay, right? So please understand that in whatever the series they are asking, whatever the series, Lyman, Balmer, Paschen bracket fund, whatever the series they're asking, you have to make sure if they're asking about the shortest wavelength, N2 value should be infinity. Please make a note of it. For shortest lambda, right, the N2 value should be infinity. N1 value depends. N1 value depends on what series I have. N1 value depends on what series I have. Okay, right?
Sir, one doubt.
That means
Tell me.
Sir, suppose if lambda is 2, sir, for example.
Lambda value is 2, okay.
Sir, okay, then reciprocal of lambda will be how should it be maximum, sir? How should it be maximum?
No, Kanna. So the thing is, like it is, see, first lambda value, first you'll find only 1 by lambda value, right? So if 1 by, see, it's like this, how do I put it? See, I have this formula. In this, there are so many constants. What are all the constants? RH is a constant, Z is a constant, N1 is also a constant, depending on what series I have. Okay. So, like, oh, wait, okay, coming directly to your question, say lambda value is 2. Okay, lambda value is 2. So 1 by lambda will be 1 by 2, which is 0.5, right? Say lambda value is 3. Right, say 1 by lambda will be 1 by 3, which will be what, 0.66, right? Say I have, sorry, 1.33, right? So this value would be 0.33, right? Say lambda value is 4. Now 1 by lambda will be 1 by 4, which is 0.25. So what are you seeing here? You can see that as lambda value is increasing, 2, 3, 4, the 1 by lambda value is actually decreasing, 0.5, 0.33, 0.25, it keeps on decreasing. Now are you able to understand?
Sir.
Okay. Right. So now we'll do some problem. And one more thing. So you have, please remember, now you have lambda value, whatever is sorted, shortest lambda. Okay, we didn't see about the maximum value. We saw about the minimum value. Okay. Now we saw about shortest value of lambda, and for shortest value of lambda, N2 should be infinity. That we saw, right? So what will be the value for maximum lambda? That we'll see. Right, for maximum lambda, right? Now again, you have to make sure, now I need to have lambda value to be maximum. So 1 by lambda value should be minimum, right? So lambda value is maximum. So lambda value maximum means 1 by lambda should be minimum. Okay, and I have to make sure that I have some value, and this value is getting subtracted should be very, very, very high, so that this particular value will become very less. Okay, so anyways, we'll not go into the details of mathematics of this. So please understand, for maximum lambda, the N2 value should be N1 plus 1, right? Whatever the N1 value, depending on what type of series I'm going to have, whether it's Lyman, Balmer or series or whatever it is, the N2 value should be the next value. Say for example, in Lyman series, right, for maximum lambda, N1 is 1 and N2 should be 2, right? For maximum value of lambda in Lyman series, for example, N1 is fixed, that is 1. right? And N2 value should be N1 plus 1, that is 2. Say for Balmer series, it will be N1 is equal to 2 and N2 should be 3. Like this we'll be able to do, right? So you can even correct it, you can even check with the help of mathematics. You can just put random values there and check how am I getting lambda value to be maximum. If I get lambda value to be maximum, 1 by lambda should be minimum. Okay, and other than all this, they can ask the same question in terms of energy. They can ask the same question in terms of energy. Now please understand, E is equal to hc by lambda. E is equal to hc by lambda. So what you understand, if lambda value increases, my E value decreases because denominator is increasing. Denominator is increasing, so obviously the total value will decrease, isn't it? So please understand, E is inversely proportional to lambda. E is inversely proportional to lambda. Okay, this also you understand. Okay, so obviously for shortest wavelength, how will be the energy value? It will be maximum or minimum? For shortest lambda, will energy be maximum or minimum?
Maximum.
Maximum,
Maximum.
sir.
Very so that's what I told you. If lambda value is minimum, E value is maximum. If lambda value is maximum, E value is minimum, because they are inversely related, right? So I can even put it as shortest wavelength or maximum energy. And same way for maximum for minimum lambda, for minimum wavelength, for maximum wavelength, minimum energy. So this also you can note. Okay, so for maximum lambda, minimum wavelength, for maximum lambda, minimum energy, and for minimum lambda, maximum energy. That's it, because E and lambda are inversely related. E and lambda are inversely related. Okay, fine. Now we'll do some problem. Just the time. I take on the question. Just give me a second. I'll be back. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Determine the shortest. Your question. I'm telling you the question. Right. Determine the shortest and the longest wavelengths. Determine the shortest and the longest wavelength in Lyman series of a hydrogen atom. Determine the shortest and the longest wavelengths in Lyman series of an hydrogen atom. So you have to use this formula, 1 by lambda, and you know how to calculate maximum and minimum wavelengths. I told you for maximum wavelength N2 is infinity, and for for minimum wavelength N2 is infinity. For maximum wavelength N2 is N1 plus 1. Like keep RH as RH only. Like you don't have to substitute the values of RH. Keep RH as RH only.
So we should not substitute RH value, no sir?
Not required, not required.
Okay,
Keep
sir.
RH as RH only then.
Done, sir.
What is the answer? For minimum
For
and
shortest, it is RH.
For shortest, it is RH.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about 1 by lambda. We are talking
Yes.
about
1 by lambda is RH.
For minimum.
For shortest.
Correct. Okay.
For maximum, it is
3
half
by 4.
RH.
3 by 4 RH.
Okay. So, like, I think the person who told for minimum value, you're talking about 1 by lambda, but they're talking about wavelength, not 1 by wavelength, right? So, what should be the answer then? Lambda minimum
Lambda
should be
1 by
what?
RH.
Correct. 1 by RH. And the other guy, like, who's the other guy who told maximum? I think Suryamurthy told minimum. Some other guy told for maximum. Or you only told both the things? No,
I was saying for maximum also.
Okay. Rohan.
Maximum
fine.
it is 2 into 1 by 2 by RH.
No. It is going to be 3 by 4 RH. Whatever. I think Rohan told the correct answer.
Sir, I said, sir.
Who said? Suryamurthy told. Okay. I think I'm getting confused. Fine. Because I'm not able to see the faces, guys. I just have to realize it from the voices. Okay. Fine. So now very simple. I will do this. So we are talking about Lyman series, right? So obviously N1 is 1, okay? And if it is going to be minimum wavelength, okay, so we're talking about 1 by lambda minimum. For 1 by lambda, whenever I want to have lambda to be minimum and RH, Z is 1 because it's hydrogen atom. Like Z squared, RH, Z squared is there, so it is 1 squared. 1 into 1 by 1 squared because it is Lyman series minus, now if we're talking about minimum wavelength, shortest wavelength, N2 should be equal to infinity. Isn't it? N2 should be equal to infinity. Correct. So this value will become 0. So I have 1 by lambda minimum is RH. So obviously lambda minimum will be equal to 1 by RH. That's the answer. So that is the minimum wavelength which I can get from your Lyman series. So now when I go for 1 by lambda max, that is maximum wavelength, right? Now I told you for maximum wavelength, N2 should be equal to N1 plus 1, right? Here N1 value is 2, sorry, N1 value is 1, right? Okay, so it will be RH into 1 by 1 squared minus N2 should be N1 plus 1. So here it should be N2 squared, which will be 2 squared, which will be 4, right? So it will be RH into 1 minus 1 by 4, correct? So I can write 1 by lambda max as 1 minus 1 by 4 will become 3 by 4, right? So it will be 3 by 4 RH. This will be the value for 1 by lambda max. So what will be lambda max then? It will be 4 by 3 RH. It will be 4 by 3 RH. RH is the denominator. RH in the denominator. So 3 by 4 RH will be the 1 by lambda max. So lambda max would be 4 by 3 RH would be the answer. Guys, everybody understood how are we doing the problems?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Others, Divya, Abhishek,
Yes,
Muthukrishna, right? Everybody is fine, right? It's just formula substitutions. Even though you don't understand the mathematics, please understand for shortest wavelength, lambda is infinity. For maximum wavelength, for shortest wavelength, N2 is infinity. And for maximum wavelength, N2 is N1 plus 1. Okay, we'll do one more. Yeah.
Sir, for minimum wavelength, the formula is RH into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square, right? So for minimum wavelength, N2 will be infinity, sir. But infinity square is not 0, right?
Oh, sir, like I have, I have some big number. That big number squared will again become a still more bigger number. So that will be a 0 only. So you see, infinity is not a determined value. I'm telling infinity is some large value. It is coming from somewhere very high position. That's what I need to understand. 1 by infinity is 0 means 1 by infinity square is definitely 0. That's what I need to understand. Because that 1 by infinity itself is a large number. I mean, infinity itself is not large number. So it's like 1 by 10,000. If you say 0.00001, right? 10,000 squared will become some 10 power 8. So it will be 0.00, that is 8 zeros and 1. So it is still more closer to 0. Are you able to understand?
Sir.
Okay, fine. Cool. Now we'll do one more problem. Okay, next question. Wave number of a spectral line. Wave number of a spectral line.
Sir,
Yeah.
I had an issue, so I left the meeting and joined back again. Can you repeat the question from first?
Yeah, that's what I'm repeating. That's not just now I started. Just right, take it down. Okay. So take down. Wave number of a spectral line. Wave number of a spectral line for a given transition. Wave number of a spectral line in a given transition for He plus. For He plus is x per meter. X is the value, per meter is the unit, right? So wave number of a spectral line for a given transition in He plus is x per meter. Obviously, why per meter? Because it's 1 by lambda. Lambda is specified in terms of meter. So 1 by lambda will be per meter. Right? The wave, obviously, you know what is wave number. Wave number is 1 by lambda. Right? Okay. So wave number of a spectral line for a given transition in He plus is x per meter. Okay. Now they're asking, find the wave number. Find the wave number for BE3 plus. Find the wave number for BE3 plus. Find the wave number for BE3 plus for the same transition. Find the wave number for beryllium 3 plus for the same transition. For the same transition. Okay. So they have given that for some transition, say if N1 value is fixed, N2 value is fixed. They didn't ask about any Lyman-Balmer or whatever it is. They're telling there is some transition happening, some electronic transition happening from some higher orbit to some lower orbit in helium plus. And for that, the wave number, that is 1 by lambda value, is x per centimeter, x per meter. They're asking for the same transition, that is from the same N2 and same N1, right? What will be the value for beryllium 3 plus? Obviously, I have to get the answer in terms of X, right? Can you do it? Now, see, the problem only looks like something, but it's very easy. Shall I do, or you want some more time?
4x 1 meter.
4x per meter. 4x per meter.
meter.
Okay, I think that is the answer. Anyways, we'll check again. Right? Okay, so first we'll do it for, they are given for He plus, right? So this 1 by lambda, it is given as X, right? 1 by lambda is given as X, and this X will be equal to RH Z squared, and Z squared is what now? For helium, the atomic number is 2. So can I say it will be 4 Z squared? 2 squared will become 4, and into 1 by N1 squared into 1 by N2 squared. That we don't have to worry, because the same transition is happening even in He plus as well as in beryllium 3 plus. N1 and N2 are same. That's what they're given in the question indirectly. Same transition, right? So basically X is 4 into RH. That is what I need to understand. Okay, now when I go for beryllium 3 plus, what will happen? Say now if I calculate 1 by lambda, right? This is what I have to find, wave number, which what I have to find. 1 by lambda is RH into Z squared again. Now for beryllium, the atomic number is 3. Beryllium atomic number is 4. Correct? Beryllium atomic number is 4. So 4 squared will become 16 RH. 4, this thing will become 16 RH, right? So now I have to get somehow this X into this picture, right? So tell me, if X is equal to 4 RH, right? If X is equal to 4 RH, can I write this particular thing as 4 into 4 RH?
Yes, sir.
In RH, I'll be able to write it as 4 into 4 RH, correct? And what is 4 RH? 4 RH is only my X. So obviously 1 by lambda in this case will be equal to 4X. Very simple, right? I calculated in terms of RH, right? First I calculate for helium plus 1 by lambda is given as X. And for that RH into Z squared. Z is 2, so 2 squared will become 4. And N1 and N2 I don't have to care, because N1 and N2 are going to be both in both the cases, right? So I found out X value in terms of RH to be 4 into RH, right? And when I went for beryllium 3 plus, again, right, 1 by lambda is equal to RH Z squared. Here the beryllium's atomic number is 4, so 4 squared will become 16. So 1 by lambda in this case will become 16 RH, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the 16 RH as 4 into 4 RH. Now again, this 4 RH is what is my X. So obviously 1 by lambda for beryllium 3 plus is going to be 4 into X. 1 second, guys. Some phone is ringing.
Sir?
Yes?
Instead of taking RH, I took that as a variable. So
No problem, no problem. However you get the answer, it's all up to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Like you just have to show the steps properly and get the final answer properly. That's what is important. Okay, fine. So what is the time? Okay. I think we'll wind up, guys. Okay, so that's about your emission spectrum of hydrogen. So tomorrow's class we'll be seeing, I told you now what you understood is light particularly has like they will study in your higher classes or even in your 12th you'll study light has dual nature, or even say even electron has dual nature. What do you mean by dual nature is I can even have particle nature. I can have particle nature, and the electron can behave as a wave also. Right, the electron or light for that matter, anything like any particle wave, I'm going to call it, right? So any electromagnetic radiation or say any light, if I have, they will be able to behave as particles, right? And they will be able to behave as what is that? Waves also. So we will prove this. We'll prove this next class with the help of certain experiments, right? They will have particle nature also. They will have wave nature also, right? All that we'll try to prove in next class, right? And then we'll do some mathematical calculations based on that. Okay, fine. So that's it for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want me to check whether you took took notes? Can I check?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about others?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. I will check randomly, not today. Fine then. Let him go. Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.